Well, the Prime Minister spent the weekend in Bali for the East Asia Summit and as part of that held a one-on-one meeting with the Indonesian President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. Indonesia was nonplussed by the announcement last week that Australia would enhance its military ties with the United States, basing thousands of extra Marines in Darwin in the coming years. To discuss that issue and others, I was joined earlier by the Indonesian Foreign Minister, Marty Natalegawa. Marty Natalegawa, last week you said that you were worried that the enhanced US-Australia military cooperation had the potential to provoke tensions or mistrust in the region. After the weekend talks between President Yudhoyono and Prime Minister Gillard, do you still have that concern?
Well, we are quite assured by what we had heard both from President Obama as well as from Prime Minister Gillard over the course of past few days, that the most recent development is not meant to be inimical or to be unfriendly to any countries in the region. But even then, when a few days ago I had mentioned about the regional dynamics, that's not by way of describing how things are, but how things could be, how things could develop if there was no more further dissemination of information and transparency and the like, which subsequently we have heard from all the principals concerned. So I think all this is looking quite well.
Is it accurate that President Yudhoyono has suggested that troops from other countries participate in joint military exercises with Australia and the US, including Chinese troops?
Absolutely. Indeed, the President had suggested and proposed to the Australian Prime Minister. Let's make even more sure that this development can be even more positive by suggesting this idea of having military operations other than war. In other words, exercises involving the Australian Armed Forces, Japan, Indonesia, China, most of all, not least, in a certain kind of disaster-related scenarios. Not only is that useful in dealing with potential situation of the type in the future, but it can have a tremendous confidence building and enhancements of interoperability capacity between the different armed forces, which we think will be tremendous for our region.
If I could turn to the issue of asylum seekers, Australia's recently shifted to a policy of onshore processing instead of offshore processing. What effect do you believe that that's going to have on people smuggling in the region?
Well, we are yet to see, to be honest, what would be the full implication of this most recent developments. From Indonesia's perspective, it is quite clear that we must continue to nurture a comprehensive approach, origin, country of origin, transit, and destination, and having a partial addressing of the issue, whether it be at the receiving end or whether at the transiting part or the origin, will only be skewed, a partial approach. That's not necessarily positive in getting the problem addressed.
The Australian opposition leader Tony Abbott has a policy of turning boats back to Indonesia. What's Indonesia's view on that, and what would Indonesia do if it were aware of an Australian boat escorting a people smuggling vessel towards Indonesia?
Well, we've been through this before, I think. We've had certain policy emphasis in the past that tends to sort of push back the boat, the people who are coming to Australia to other regions. I think that's why we have now the Bali process, precisely that is inclusive of the origin, transit, and destination, precisely to avoid that partial approach that in the past was quite noticeable or prevalent.
What representations has the Indonesian government made to the Australian government in regards to a number of Indonesian teenage boys who are held in Australian adult prisons, many in connection with asylum seeker boats?
Yesterday, the two leaders discussed about ways and means to have a speedy ascertainment of whether these people are adults or minors, and to do the right thing if they are found to be minors, non-adults. So we have now a renewed commitment on the part of the two governments to work closely on this issue. Concurrently, our president has also, Indonesia is also alert and aware of certain cases here in Indonesian court involving at least in Australian minor that we are giving particular attention to and ensuring that his rights as a minor is properly protected.
Are you able to give us an update on Indonesia's position regarding the 14-year-old Australian boy who's being held in Bali?
I can't, to be honest, on such a micro-explicit manner. This is a matter that is now before the courts, and I think it would be quite inappropriate for someone like me to express a view on that.
Marty Natalegawa, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.